the wall that had been broken down. And one of the things that we are doing here is that we are calling forth, even as we call for our tribes and family lines, we are praying that the waste places, the desolate places, and the breaches in the walls would be built up again. And it begins with the host people through the governing authority that they carry, rightly given to them by the Creator, to take their place and call these things into fruition. And so here's Nehemiah, and he's building the wall. Now listen to this scenario. They had built the wall in Nehemiah. You know the story. You can find it. It's written in the Bible. But in chapter 6, the enemies of Nehemiah came. And they came with a request. Those that opposed him came to him. Nehemiah, we want to speak with you in the valley of Ono. And he said, oh no. No, in chapter 6, he said, so they sent the word to him, come and let us meet and let's have a dialogue. And he said, and he recognized something, that he had a mission. He had a mission, and he said this, I sent messengers to them saying, I am doing a great work and cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave to come down to you? And they sent to me 4 times. Do you see a pattern here? 4 times this way, and each time he answers them as before. Ever since this work started with these fathers of faith, the team that is standing here together, every time we have come together to Washington, there has been an uphill climb and a push to come to Washington, D.C. Many of you that are here understand this because you probably invested a lot to be here. We want to honor you for coming and pushing through the things that would hinder you from coming to this place to join us as a host people and as the authority, people that carry the authority in the land, because we hold the welcome, what we say takes place. Hello. So as we stand here from this gateway this weekend, it is imperative and it is important that we declare the things that Gije Manito gave to us to declare. And so as we release the prophets in the house to release what it is they are releasing, what they're carrying for Native America, and it's not to say that it does not apply. If you're in the room and you're hearing the prophetic words, apply it to you. Amen. It's for everyone.
Amen.
And so I want to say this lastly. I'm going to ask Dr. Big Pond to come up. Lastly, when they asked him to come into that valley to have a dialogue, consider this scenario. And think of this as we have come into Washington, D.C. on the 4th year. He said this, now when Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had built the wall, and that there was no breach left in it, and that although at that time I had not set up the doors and the gates. Think with me for a minute. We have come here on the 4th year. And we have prayed to rebuild the breaches, to build up the wall, to create a place for America in this nation, North America, to stand in, and for a people to rise in the governmental voice that Gije Manito has inferred on them and conferred onto them. He gives us this gift to be the voice in this time. And so I want to say, could it be that in our 4th year, the walls are being built as we arise and build in this day and hour? Though the walls had been built, but the gates had not yet been hung. The doors had not yet been hung in the gate. It is imperative even at this time, though the walls have been built up, that we man the gates that have yet to have the gatekeepers. I believe this is the day and the hour where our fathers of faith would begin to position the gatekeepers at every gateway, even as we have built the walls. Father, we thank you tonight we thank you for the four winds where you brought the relatives together to gather together as one, that with one voice we would declare your purposes in the land. And I pray tonight as we look to you, that you give us the wisdom, even as the opponents come and say and distract us to come off the wall. I pray that we would have the courage and the bravery to say, no, we will not come off the wall, even as we still have to assign the gatekeepers in every gateway. Would you welcome Dr. Nigel Big Pond?
Praise the Lord. Just real quickly, because we want to release the prophets tonight, give them an opportunity. I know God is speaking to them about many things about this November the 7th, 1949 season. And I just want to feed you some information, where the direction we're headed, and why we're here tonight, and why you came tonight. You're a very big part of what's taking place. This is not just another gathering and teaching or anything like this. This is something that the Lord has purposed and placed for the First Nation people. And when I say First Nation, I mean First Nation, all First Nation people. Now this is November the 7th, 1949. Of course, we know the number 7 is completion, the number of completion. It also means wisdom. And it also means a deep time to search yourself deeply, like deep soul searching. What is your purpose? What is your place? In 2018, Chuck Pierce in Tulsa said it's time for the First Nation people to release the prophets. Our prophets look a little bit different than yours, maybe. Our prophets aren't like the Chuck Pierces, the Sidney Jacobs, the Rick Joyners, or anyone like that. Kimberly Daniels, different ones that I know. Our prophets were storytellers. Our prophets they had vision quests. They seen visions before they spoke. They didn't hear, they heard, but they also seen. And so they would go on these vision quests, and that's when they would receive the prophecies. And so what we're telling our people, and First Nation people, is to begin to seek out your prophets and the Dene people, the Lakota people, the Cherokees, the Mohawks, the Uchihas, and the Creeks, and the Choctaws, Chickasaws, and all Sauls.
The Willipais, the Chimawaban, the Mojaves, the Pimas.
So the number 7 is freedom. Well, 7 times 7 is 49, which means a great time of freedom. This year is a freedom year. The Freedom 2020 is a freedom year. And I'm feeding you prophets tonight. Because here in just a little bit, you're going to begin to release. Now, we're on a trail since 2016 called All Tribes DC, the Trail to Forgiveness, a Great Awakening. We are going to be a part of the Great Awakening. There, at one time, was 18 million Native people, we believe. And that dwindled down to 6.6 million. There's 567, I believe, tribes now. It's kind of went up since President Trump released, I think, 6 or 7 more tribes from Virginia. The largest tribes are the Dene people, the Cherokees, and the Sioux, Dakota Sioux, or Dakota, yeah. In 2004, there was about 7 natives went to Senator Brownback. Medicine Eagle was there. I was there, Jay Swallows was there, and different ones were there. And we prayed, we cried, we kneeled on a treaty book, which is about 8 inches thick. And Senator Brownback said, we were supposed to be in there 30 minutes, and we ended up being there 3.5 hours, praying and weeping. And he asked after that, what else do we need to do? And so I said, Senator, I think it's time for the United States of America to ask forgiveness to the First Nation people. And that kind of took him back. He said, well, can you write the apology? And I said, well, we're not going to write the apology for you. You have to do that yourself. And so they began secretly to do that. And it was signed in 2010, I believe, December 19, 2010, by President Obama, but it never was publicly released. I think some of our chiefs even came to Washington, D.C. expecting that to happen, but it did not. And so, why didn't I don't know. Maybe President Obama wasn't the one to do it. This is a God thing.
Amen.
It's a healing process. And it's a healing prophecy. And because of prophecy that the Lord gave me that same time, he said, when the president releases that apology, you should look to the east, which I thought was the direction east, but later he corrected me, he said, no, that's Israel. And we know that this president has a line with Israel. And so when he looks to the east, and after he says this, releases the apology, the hand of God will come across this nation, healing the land and the people and the world. I don't know about you, but I like to see some healing going on.
Amen.
In this land,
Amen.
in this world. And so that hasn't happened yet. That's our quest. We're asking and working on this president to release that apology. And everyone says, well, he's just crazy enough to do it. Because you have to be about halfway crazy to release apology to the First Nation people anyway. So what we did, because it hasn't happened, we released The Seed of Forgiveness, written by a Mohawk brother named Willie Jacques. And it is a seed that was released on 2016 on the mall in front of the Washington Monument. Now, also was read the Crazy Horse Prophecy, which I believe Crazy Horse was not crazy, he was just a prophet. And most prophets are crazy anyway, so that fits in. 1877. Let me read just part of this. The red nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for the sick world, a world filled with broken promises, selfishness, separation, a world longing for the light again. I see a time of 7 generations. That's what you've seen when the Dene worship team was up here, the young people releasing worship. The 7th generation of all colors of mankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again. And that's what Gabe was talking about. He's talking about unity. He's talking about the tribes coming together, the Lakota people coming together in unity. He's saying being separate. We're all going to have to come together. Whether it's Chinese, Burmese, Vietnamese, all kinds of needs.
They'll all be on their knees.
All come together. He said, in that day there will be among our people the tribes who will carry knowledge and understand unity among all living things. And that's what Gabe was talking about. So these things are happening. This is a prophecy. This is from a holy man, a Lakota man. I salute the light within your eyes where the whole universe dwells. For when you are in the center, when within you, I am that place within me, we shall be one. Now after he released this prophecy, he was killed 4 days later I forgot where it was at. He was in prison. That's where it was. Yeah. Now, there's another prophet that we don't look as a prophet named Billy Graham. 1975, Albuquerque, New Mexico. At the Hilton Inn, he was with a native group, and he said this: "You as Indians are a sleeping giant. The evangelistical Indians are a sleeping giant. You are now awakened. The original Americans could turn around and be the evangelists to win other Americans to Christ." So it's not just about singing, it's not just about playing. We got things to do. God is calling you back into the evangelistic field on the reservations where I first started as evangelist. You may want to be a prophet, you may want to be an apostle, but God said, no, I want you to be an evangelist. He said also that we would be the ones to turn around and be the evangelists to win over Americans to Christ. And then also he said something that just overwhelmed me. Just around the corner, you may become a spiritual superpower that could change not only America, but the world. Now that's high, tall, however you want to look at it. Superpower. Look at someone and say, you look like superpower. Not Superman or Superwoman, but superpower. Willie Jacques wrote to people, the host people of the great nation, of the original lovers of this great land, stand united with one heart, one mind, to bring the power of forgiveness to bear. So that seed has already been planted. Regardless of if they ever ask our people to forgive them, that we already planted the seed. Right. The seed's in the earth, Mother Earth. The seed is on Turtle Island. The seed is here. I released 7 questions to our native people and you that are here may write this down or whatever. We probably don't have time to write it down, but let's real quickly, let me release this. I was on the Jim Baker show not long ago, and he asked me these 7 questions. Can you give an update on what is going on with tribes in our nation? And I did my best. But I don't know all nations. You have to answer for your nation. What is the importance of what's happening with the tribes in regard to revival in America? Number 3, do you see any first fruits of revival in America? And what do these look like? Why and why not? Number 4, is there a role what role does the church play in opening the door to what is happening with the tribes to usher in revival in America? Number 5, what kind of role could you see the media play to help assist in communication what is going on with the tribes? And I said, well, no more smoke signals, for one thing. You got to get on the air. They got to hear our voices.
Right, right.
What is God speaking right now? Number 6. Number 7, why is the First Nation people have problems accepting Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior? So there's many things that are happening, people. And we have to get ready for everything. But there's some supernatural things happening. There is, one of the things is that we, in 2016, were on Washington Mall, releasing prayer and releasing forgiveness and prophesying, which has never been done before. National Day of Prayer. I've been on the board for 20 years of the National Prayer Committee. And not one time did they ever ask a Native to be and stand before the nation and pray. Until I got there, and I asked them why not. And they said, well, we did have some Native here, but his feathers were beautiful. I said, is that all we all stand for is just feathers? We're just feathers to you. We have a voice. We have songs, we have a voice, we have prayers. So there's a lot of things that are happening in this hour. We have been welcoming the First Nation people, such as the Chinese, such as our African American people, that were forced to come to America, that didn't really want to come. Brought them in chains. So what did we do? We welcomed them to the land as the host people of the land. So there's just a lot of things that are happening in this day and time, and we have to be equipped. We need the prophets to come forth. Our prophets were called holy men. Our prophets would tell stories. Our prophets would see visions. And then they would speak and tell. Our prophets give us the ability to carry on, to live another year and years and years and years, to carry on, to go on. And so we have done a lot of supernatural things in the last 3 or 4 years. We have been prophesied by different prophets that to bring the 39 tribes together to Oklahoma. We've been prophesied to bring all the 600 and some odd tribes together in Texas. Wow. Texas has a big role in this prophecy. Oklahoma, land of the red man, has a big role in these prophecies. And you as First Nation people, and you as Native people of the land, the first people of the land, you need to get ready. There's a mandate that's set upon you. And yes, you're good singers, you're good worshipers, and you're good preachers, you're good teachers, but now it's time to release the prophets of the land. That's why you're here tonight. We want to release the prophets, all prophets. All prophets. Because they're hearing from God. And we can't allow that not to be released here in D.C. Chuck Pierce was wanting to come here tonight, to be a part of this tonight. He has so much built up in him that he has to release, but he couldn't be here. But he said many things, and I want to stop here. I don't want to take too much of the prophet's times. But what he's saying, I must say this. Now, this is why I keep praying over our first people. There's going to be a divine rearrangement of your tribe. Navajo or Dene, get ready. Lakota, get ready. And I think that's what Gabe was talking about. They're coming back in unity. Cherokees, get ready. Kiowa, Mohawk, Ojibwe, Cheyenne. You're going to have to start changing. The days of the old are gone. And it's time to release. I just turned 70 today. And don't feel old. Some say, well, you sure look old, but that's all right. God is about to turn them upside down, he said, and all that the tribal people that they have, God is about to rearrange them. Call forth the gifts out of the tribes. It's going to be amazing. So I'm calling forth your gift. It's time that you stop just being a tribal person. And I'm this and I'm that. I'm a Choctaw, I'm a Chickasaw. I'm Utah. And all these halls. It's time that we quit bragging on what we are and start doing something about it. We have to start rearranging things. And it's going to take the prophets to do it. That's the reason I'm glad many of my prophet friends are here tonight. I'm watching the Lord do something here. All Tribes DC is going to be very important in November up in Washington, D.C. I've asked the Lord to see if He can have me to come and prophesy, because it's going to be a divine rearrangement of the first people. And that's what's going to rearrange our nation. You understand what I'm saying here? I'm not just blowing smoke here. Your job is to rearrange this nation, Gabriel Menesneagle. Not just be a Lakota.
Amen.
Joanne Swallows, not just to be a Cheyenne. Angel Big Pond, not just to be a Utah. But our job is to divine rearrangement of the first people that's going to rearrange a nation. You hear what I'm saying? A power time. You may have been a Christian many, many years. Say, well, I go to church and that's all I do. Now it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. So we are wanting the prophets to come forth. I'm going to turn this back over to Thunder Woman here.